All right. Hello, everyone. I have the pleasure of having my darling friend Jane here with me today because behind the scenes we've been talking and we do talk regularly. And so things always come up. And we were basically feeling like, hey, maybe we should do a live together because right now, just to set the tone for a moment, we are in the middle of our 29 days of magic, of my Magic and Miracles project that I started. And Jane, you just are so amazing because you're always like, let's go, let's do it, and dive in with me. Like, sure, let's do it.
Yeah,
And
what are we doing next, Silke? I'm here
what are we
for it.
doing
Thank
next?
you.
Are
Yeah.
you giving us a break at any point?
Yeah, I did say that too, didn't I? Do we get a break from this?
Gonna break this year at some point. I'm like, nope, nope, we're just gonna keep going. And so anyway, we thought it would be just so much fun to come on and talk, just whatever comes up, really. But of course, there's always going to be amazingness there. I promise you that. So your time will not be wasted, especially not if you
Mm,
have the honor of being in the company with beautiful Jane. So Jane Nakata, my friend, hi, welcome
hello.
to
Thank
to
you.
this space. I'm so happy for anyone who'll be watching this. And if you would please introduce yourself.
Yeah, just for a moment, introduce myself again. As you heard, my name is Jayne Nakata, which is a Japanese name. I do live in Japan, but I'm not Japanese. My husband is. I've lived here for I think we have to try and do maths again now. And 23 years it is now that I've been in Japan, living here in a place called Fukushima, which you may have heard of. It's famous for all the wrong reasons, but it's a wonderful place to live, actually. And yeah, I work from home and create podcasts for people who need help getting their voice out there and need direction and coaching and that sort of thing. And I really enjoy helping people to get started to, yeah, get their voices out there, those voices that need to be heard. And that's what I do most of the day when I'm not being a parent to my two children who are currently 10 and 13, going on what feels like, 20 and 25, but they're growing up very quickly. And one of them's in a baseball team, so I'm often talking about baseball. I'm learning a lot through the medium of baseball about life, about Japanese culture, and about just being part of a community, actually. I was thinking it's kind of like my church. I don't go
Mhm.
to an actual physical church, here in Japan at all, and I never have. But this is like the community around it and, our shared values and all that sort of thing. It's very similar. So, yeah, that is me in a nutshell. And I'm very happy to be here speaking with you today, Silke. We're in the middle of our 29 days of Magic and Miracles. Some of us are in different places, right? What day are you up to today as we're speaking? You're up to day
25.
25, but I'm still on 14.
Hmm.
So if you're listening and you're like, well, I haven't started yet, that's okay, right?
Yeah,
You can start, you can be
exactly.
at anywhere along the process. Today I'm
Yes.
up to 14 and just thought I'd show you what 14 is,
Hmm.
the direction card today.
Amazing, amazing. No, and that's the beautiful thing is that everybody can be on their own path with this, wherever you're finding yourself, and that's totally fine. So that's why I'm giving the whole spaciousness to of the 6 months from the beginning of this journey. So this way, there is no real like timeline that you must absolutely keep up. If you can, great, but the most important thing really for me is to be present and to show up. And you have done just such a beautiful job with that to be here with
Oh,
us and
thank you.
share. Yes, even though you've been on your beautiful trip, and my gosh, I was thinking, where do we even begin? Because I was also thinking about the cards and all of these decks that are with you in Japan. Maybe we'll just start with that for a moment, just because that's just so on my mind right now.
Mm,
You were one of the first, which is amazing when you think about it. Here I am in Tennessee, you are in Japan, but yet you were one of the first to receive my cards as soon as they came out, which is just incredible. And then you've been sharing them, and yeah, I'm just gonna let you run with that part here right now, Jane, if you wouldn't mind.
mm. Well, I was very lucky that you showed me these cards when they were still in development, and you were like, "And so this
Hmm.
is what they look like," and you were going showing me each card, and I was sitting there and just even through the screen on the computer, my eyes were just being bombarded with this kind of power. I'm like, what am I seeing here? I mean, I think that's what I said to you. What have I just
Hmm.
seen? You know, I
Hmm.
was so excited to get my hands on these cards. And so, of course, I had to be the first people to get them. And yeah, then I started using them. And I'm like, this is really fun. This is, you know, if anything else, it's really fun. And it's so uplifting to use these cards. And so I started making it part of my day. And then I started sort of like showing my friends like, hey, look at these cards I've got, do you want to draw some? And everybody would be like, oh, these are so beautiful, yes, of course, I'd love to. And I'm like, there's no bad cards, don't worry. So they go, oh, that's fantastic, even better, because you can kind of see that when people look at these kind of decks, they are a little bit worried that they might pull a card that's negative. And I said, well, there's
Hmm.
no negative cards in here, everything has a message for you. And so, yeah, I often bring them out when I'm at like a party, or if I'm meeting one of my clients one to one, I'll bring them along and we'll say, let's just get some guidance or some talking points for today, and we'll pull some cards. And absolutely every time people interact with them, they just fall in love with them immediately. So if you're on the fence about getting some, just go and buy them and get on with it, get using them. And so I'm sitting here talking to you today, and I've got like a lineup of them here at the bottom of my computer screen
Oh
that's with
my
me every
gosh.
day. And so I've got my cards for the week, which I draw every Monday. And I have a little group of friends here in Japan who've all got their own cards now. And every Monday we share our cards, like, what did you get? What's your week? And
Oh,
the synchronicities that come up is really interesting. Like, I think it was last week, between the three of us, we all had a card that each other had. Like everybody had somehow
wow.
drawn at least one card that was the same as somebody else.
That is
Yeah, and
amazing.
mm, yeah, and it happens quite often. And so it's like, wow, we really like the three of us are connected in our working lives and we support each other and that as well. But yeah, the cards are showing us that just this is how deep this sort of
Hmm.
connection really goes. So yeah, so anyway, I have my lineup of cards here. I've got the cards that have appeared to me that I've drawn. Sometimes I'll pull out a card that I feel like I need. Like
Hmm.
like at the moment I'm just really I love my spirit guides card,
Hmm.
so I kind of quite often have that one out there anyway. And just
Hmm.
getting, you know, getting what I need from that card, or like you said, my numerology card, my very own card, number 33, is sitting
Hmm.
there. I just felt like I needed that out this week.
Hmm.
I've got what I've got 6 cards here all lined up.
Oh, I
So that's
love
how
that
I
so
use them.
much. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, because you've just really incorporated them into your life, and it's just so, so beautiful.
Yeah, it's like,
And
oh yeah, it's Monday. I get to draw some cards and see
oh,
what we're gonna get this week, and just always have them there just to sort of remind me this is what we're doing, Jane. We're focusing this week. It's wisdom, sovereignty, and alignment are my 3 cards that I have out
ooh,
for the week, and just keep
wow.
looking and reminding. Okay, that's what we're doing. Come on, get back to that because obviously this week has not turned out how I thought it was going to turn out. I've had a sick dog and it was really quite stressful. But I drew
Mm-hmm.
on my wisdom from my 14 years of raising this dog to know that he's going to be okay. He just needs, you know, he needs
Oh,
these, you know, he needs to recover and he needs some, you know, this kind of food and this kind of, you know, exercise, and he'll come back again and he's fine today. So there we go.
oh, amazing. That's so beautiful. And I just love how when you always share the stories about, oh, I had a friend draw a card and it was just right on, and you had shared pictures before too of everyone holding up their cards and how
Mm,
excited they were for them and how fitting it was. And to me, that's just still to this day, even though I created them now a year and a half ago, nearing 2 years already. It's amazing. But yeah, well, it'll be a little bit still before 2 years, but what's so amazing is that I'm still blown away by the fact that so many women around the world now already have my cards.
yeah.
It's like wow. It's just,
It's like your
I don't
cards
know.
are off on their own little lives now, right? Like they're
They
traveling the
are.
world and they've got their
They
own
are.
little communities around the world that gather around them. So
Oh my
who
gosh.
could have
Wow, what
imagined?
a
Mm.
beautiful thought. This it's incredible and we're still just getting started really. We've only scratched the surface and yet already you and I had talked about this before where it's almost like each woman is kind of like her own node, almost like her point of light for these cards to like, okay, I'm here and I'm holding the space for it. It's really just kind of like the energy holder of the cards and I feel the sacredness of this when I'm saying this. It just feels
Definitely.
so
Yeah.
profound. Yeah, it really does. When
Mm.
I settle into that knowing, especially then hearing you talk about it too with the cards and understanding, of course, what's contained within them and the potential that they have. It just makes it so beautiful to just know that. And every time they get shared, and then when you're sharing your stories, I just love it so much. And I just love that you found your way with them like that, because that's your unique way too of how you're interacting with
Yes,
them.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And some people are like, show me how you do it. And I'm like, you don't do it. You just use them.
Mm.
Just try and use them and have a go and take what
Yeah.
works for you from it. And I can see things in the person who's because I know maybe I know the person using the cards and I'm like, they're like, oh, but what does this mean? And I'm
Hmm.
like, well, only you really know that. I can't
Yeah.
tell you, sorry. But one
Yeah.
day I did have a friend pick one card and she wasn't happy. And I've never had that happen before. Like, generally, everyone's like, oh,
Wow.
yay, that's exactly. And she was like, what? I don't understand. And the card was actually this sovereignty card. And I think it's quite a
Mm-hmm.
tricky concept for
Mm-hmm.
people to kind of get to grips with.
Mm-hmm.
Because, especially for women, it's so unfamiliar that you will be fully in control of your life and decide
Mm-hmm.
everything for yourself and be in your sovereignty, right? And it was to
Mm-hmm.
do with this person's health. And she said, I am in my sovereignty. I am doing so many things to get my health under control. And I'm like, well, then in that case, this card means that to not stop, to not give up, to keep going, to
Mm-hmm.
stay in your sovereignty. It must be hard. It must be a challenge for you right now. And she's like, it is, it is. And I'm like, okay, then that's what it means for you,
Wow.
doesn't it? Just to not, don't stop doing what you're doing. This is
Wow.
reinforcing what you're doing. It's not saying you're not doing it enough.
Yeah.
Just, and she
Wow.
was like, ah, oh, thank you. So we went from
Wow.
what to she got the message that she wanted. She just needed a little help to see that
Wow.
that's what it
That's
was. Yeah.
amazing. And
Mm.
as you were saying this, I was in my mind kind of scrolling through the cards, and I was thinking there's not really anything else that would have been more appropriate than that card for her to receive that kind of message.
Right? It's not
Yeah.
the healer card, it's not the
Yeah.
wisdom, it's not the, you
Yeah.
know, celebration or anything, it's that was what it was and that
Mm.
was what she drew, right? It
Yeah.
came out for her. So
Wow.
it's so I yeah, amazing. Just enjoy it. Yeah.
Mm. So good.
And another thing I wanted to say that came through while you were speaking was Card World Tour, right? Once these, like you, Silke, are going to have to go on a world tour and visit
Oh,
all of these places where your cards are and the people who have them, right?
wow. That would be amazing. That would be
Wouldn't it?
incredible.
Like, imagine the
Yeah.
places you get to go and the experiences you'll
Wow.
have. Yeah, thanks
Wow.
to the
Well,
cards.
yes. Let's manifest that for sure. Yes.
Mm,
And then I can do like live readings and things, and we can play and
yeah,
retreats and things.
meetups and yeah,
Meet up.
exactly.
Yes.
Mm,
Wow. That would be amazing. Yes, absolutely. Great idea. See? Amazing. Field opened for bigger possibilities just now.
yeah, yep.
Thank you, Jane. Great Central Sun.
Sorry, you're going to
Amazing.
have to leave home, Silke. You're going to have to leave that lovely home that you have and go out into the world.
I know every time I think about it, I mean, last year I went to Germany, and then every time when I'm considering them, like, oh, but now the garden is starting, and now it's this, and I'm so enjoying, creating, and I mean, obviously this year is a full-on creation year for me, and with all of the ideas and concepts I want to bring forward, and then my son Philip helping me with everything, and so we're just really just oh, it's just so vibrant right now. And yeah, this is a time of just full on creation. But yes, absolutely. I was thinking, oh, I still need to visit you in Japan. For any of you who would have watched like a couple of years back when we were younger selves at that point. And I had, let's see, I was on your podcast originally, and
Yes.
it was the idea of coming to Japan.
Yes, we were
Um,
planning it. It was
we were
happening.
planning it, and
There were
then
tickets
the
booked
whole
even.
yes, yes. Oh my gosh, yes, exactly. And then
Mm.
the whole C-19 and things and everything else and world shutting down and you moving and whoa, I
Suddenly
mean you
having to
moving and then
move.
for shutting down, but yeah, right before. And so it was just wow, all these things. And so we haven't been able to do that yet. But now, of course, it's a completely different thing. It's no longer about Reiki. Now it'll be about maybe an amazing retreat with the cards and quantum weaving and everything. So it'd be
Yeah,
quantum
right.
weaving. Who knows?
Quantum weaving.
So
Yeah.
we just opened the field for something bigger.
Yep.
Cool. I love
Mm.
it. I love it. Yeah, this happens all the time, by the way, when we're chatting.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
it's like, what are we doing next here?
Yeah.
So so yeah, so we've known each other. We had to think back for a moment before we started this live since September 2017. I'm going to have a drink here for a moment because we were both learning the online business at the time, and so we were both part of a mastermind. And that was like one of the first, really, I think, at the time, or if it's kind. I mean, there probably were other ones too that we just didn't know, or maybe I just didn't know so much. But really, about learning online business, for me, it was that first step of saying, okay, well, all that I've gathered and what I've been learning and growing into here, let's bring it into the online space. And this just kind of came. And so, as part of this mastermind, I went to Laguna Beach and met many beautiful people. And you were one of them. And I saw
Mm.
you and I was immediately just drawn to you. And I don't do this with people as a standard thing where I'm like, I need to get to know you because there's something about you. But here we are, what now,
Mm.
7.5
Here we
years
are.
later.
Yep.
And we've been friends ever since.
Mm. Yes, that was a very unique experience for me too. I don't normally have people come up and say, "Oh, I need to get to know you," but yeah, we just had a lovely discussion and a chat, and yeah, I just felt like, wow, that was a really lovely connection, and here we are today, right? 8 years later. Yeah, we
Yep.
even did the maths. Mm.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. So
Yes.
what would you like to share, Jane?
So recently, actually, this is a really good place to share this little story, and you don't even know I'm going to talk about this. So,
Okay.
haha, surprise.
Surprise.
Um, so, my husband recently passed his 30 years anniversary of working at his company.
Wow.
He's worked in the same company for 30 years.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Congratulations.
Isn't it? And I said to him, wow, look at that. You've made it to the big 3-0 anniversary of working in your company. How do you feel? And he was like, ah, you know. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So you don't feel like any big achievement or satisfaction? He's like, ah. And I was like, wow, that's interesting because a lot of people would like us just be like, wow, 30 years, that's amazing. But
Yeah.
the actual person who's done it is like, "Mm, I just showed up to work every day, I just never quit." So I was like,
Yes.
wow, that's really interesting because what he's achieved is what is sold to every young person in Japan, right? And
Wow.
go to school, study hard, get into the best university, get the best job you can, and then stay in it for 30 years or 35 years or 40 years and then retire. And this is happiness. right? This is how you are successful in your life. And here's
Mm.
someone who's done that, and their feeling is ho hum about
Mm-hmm.
this, right? And I
Wow.
was like,
Amazing.
very
Mm-hmm.
interesting, isn't it? And so obviously we talked a little bit more, and I couldn't help myself, did a little bit of a coaching session. And he came out sort of realizing, okay, the choices he made were the choices he made, and this is the life that he had. It's pretty good, actually, really. Um, but that 30-year achievement didn't really mean anything to him,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, what I want to say from this is, like we think that we want things and then we
Mm-hmm.
get them and then we go, oh, that wasn't it, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
strive for things, sometimes even for 30 years, to find
Mm-hmm.
out that that wasn't really it. And it
Yeah.
was just a bit ho hum.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, this is very interesting to me because at the same time in the background, I'm doing this miracles, magic and miracles project with you. And on the daily basis, I'm walking around my neighborhood going, oh, wow, look at this flower. Isn't it
Oh,
amazing?
oh my
and
gosh.
and oh, the sun coming through the trees. And now I'm listening to this fantastic song and I'm feeling really amazing right now. So it was just a really, really amazing sort of juxtaposition having this going on at the same time that I'm experiencing this, the power of just being and enjoying now
Mm-hmm.
and whatever's, in front of you, whether it's, cooking dinner for that 1000th time, or making the lunch for, the millionth time for your children, all those things, finding that joy and magic in those daily things is a choice, right? We can choose
Mm-hmm.
to do it
Yes.
and we have to be intentional about it because it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
And so I was sort of thinking, well, what if my husband had been more intentional about, wow, I get to work at this company and I get to do this every day. After 30 years, he might feel more satisfied and less like
Mm-hmm.
sort of mourning the choice that he didn't make. Maybe I should have changed jobs at some point and maybe it's too late now and all this sort of stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that was my learning that was going on during the first, we're only up to day 14, but we've been at it for, as you say, 24 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some days off because I've been traveling and whatnot, and family life has interrupted things. But yeah, I didn't quit, and I'm just still doing it at my pace, right? And
Yeah.
this is what it's about, isn't it? It's just about not quitting. And for my husband too, like he didn't quit and he made it to 30 years, even though I'm sure he
Mm-hmm.
wanted to many times along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
thanks to him and his um, not giving up, we have the life that we
Mm-hmm.
have today. And I should be grateful and thankful for that too. And that's what I said to him, that, thanks to that, we have this life, right? You wouldn't have this without what you did over here. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's enjoy the miracle that it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's whatever we extract from it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, guess what? There's no big ta-da at the end, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Nobody's gonna show up, with a band or something, and yeah,
No, the band's not going to play, the fireworks are not going to go off when you hit whatever this
yeah,
magical goal that you're aiming is, right?
exactly. So we gotta create them on our own every day in all of
Yeah.
the beauty and all of the magic that's there. And there is so much. And we just bypass it every day for all of the tasks and all of the millions of things. And we don't live in the quantum. We live so much in such a small space every day, and mostly in our mind of
Mm,
the next
mm.
tasks, next things to get done. And I bet you, if you ask your husband, that's how he feels, and that's why there is no joy in that, because the um, fractal of the experience of it is kind of reduced to the daily tasks that he had to do for 30 years. And so that's where that component of the fulfillment within it is just not that profound.
Yeah, that 30-year, like, what is it? Sort of memorial date that means nothing really, right?
Mm.
And you
Yeah.
still got to go to work tomorrow.
Yep. Yep.
It's not finished. So, But you will be pleased to know that there is some, when you reach these milestones, that was the word I was trying to think of, throughout
Hmm.
your career in his company, they do give you these sort of bonus holidays and things. And so you can take a little time off, which you don't normally get, and a little bit of extra time away to, it's called a refresh break. So I'm
Hmm.
looking forward to planning what that might look like with him, what he might like to do with his special time, which he's allowed to access later on this year. So
Wow.
let's see what we get up to.
Well, gosh, I mean, there's just so much in that, so much to
Yeah.
think about, really.
Mm,
Again, we
mm.
choose life, how we live life, and the meaning of it all, really. And what a good thing for you to share, because I'm going to just leave it open with so many things, especially with everything we've talked about in magic and miracles and in quantum weaving and all of the things that we have yet to even explore. There's some real profoundness in this and in the
Yeah.
thought. Hmm.
And what, whoever's listening, if you hear that story, then there's something in there for you. I'm
Hmm.
sure that you can take away from it, whatever it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but
Yeah,
that's what's been
exactly.
going on here. And
Hmm.
I just really noticed that this is this goal that everybody is pushing, maybe push towards,
Yeah,
or is finding themselves pushing their children towards, and you don't even know why. And
yeah,
you're like, why are we doing this? It's because we don't know necessarily what else to do, so we're just going to do it anyway.
yeah.
That is, to me, that's what's coming up in my life. It's like, now I have
Mm,
children who, we want them to have a happy life, but why are we pushing them towards this? What could be, it's not mediocre, but it's not necessarily the, what's the word even, fantastic, or I think it's a Japanese word keeps coming to my head. Talk about special. um,
yeah,
that's not it, right? And
yeah,
so, yeah, that's something that it's coming up for me right now. So that's my learning from it all. It's like
yeah,
what to do now with the next generation coming along that I'm in charge of raising. What
yep,
a responsibility that is. Yes. Mm.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, society wants to train the workers to fulfill the
Yes,
purpose of the companies, and when that's fulfilled, then the individual life is kind of given up for it. So, and
it
in
is.
return,
Mm.
you get a certain status, you get certain things then out of it basically, and consider it a good life because you have been fortunate enough to be at the company for 30 years and been working and been creating a life with your family. So, but yeah, that's, there's so many programs within it. And we have not been looking outside of it because that's been kind of the standard since the industrial age. So it's been for a while now.
Mm.
And and yeah, and then now so much liberation is happening within us of realizing, wow, we can begin to slowly dissolve these structures and start looking at things from a completely new perspective. But it takes a while, for sure.
Yep. Generations.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. No, I noticed the same thing in Germany too. I was actually at the bank and exchanged money. So this way I would have some euros. And there was a poster there for the young people to basically already kind of train them in that. And I had the exact same thought at the time. I was thinking, wow, how fascinating, because it was basically talking about it. Do good in school, get good grades, and you can work at our bank as well. And, that was just kind of like, okay. And then I remembered back to Germany, where, yes, it was kind of the same thing for me. I never really fit in anywhere because I was always an artist. And so I needed to create art. And for me, it was then more about like, well, you can go to art college and then maybe you can work as a graphic designer somewhere. And I did a summer job as a graphic designer and hated it because I was painting mattresses for their magazine and whatever else. It was like, what, like the layers of the mattresses, because back then there was no computer. Well, the computers were just starting to, but we were still hand painting and drawing everything. We were still putting the letters, um, like the sticky sticker letters on like for different fonts, like on the pieces of paper, in order for that then to be something that we were handing over to the clients. And it was just so remarkable. I know. And then think, a couple of years later, Photoshop comes along and everything else, and it was revolutionary for me. I mean, my first computer when we moved here to the States, we had it all decked out, so I could use Photoshop and I could have my
Wow,
scanner and
early
everything.
adopter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yes, one of the
Mm.
first Photoshop ever. So whatever, like 0.00 that would have been. But yeah, just amazing. But yeah, and so for me, I mean, I went to art school and that was just beautiful to go to art college and get a degree in art. And but then again, then you're out of it. And I had some exhibits at the time, but at the same time, in order to make a living, I still would have had to find something in a factory or something where
A
I
real
could
job.
kind of, yeah, a
Yeah.
real
Mm,
job, exactly. And
mm,
so my greatest
mm,
liberation was coming here to the States and then being a full-time artist for several years, actually, and painting in watercolor and teaching classes and everything before we came up with the whole idea of kind of like, oh my goodness, universe, you are telling us we are supposed to create a bakery and
mm,
bake bread. And so
mm,
then, and yeah, and my husband, I mean, he was still in the army at the time too. So, and then working as a mechanic in Nashville for a while until all of that kind until, but he was always the type of person too who was like, no, I don't want a boss. I don't want this. And so we were kind of rebels all along and then homeschooling the children and just doing all of the unconventional things. But I don't know if it would have been, I don't think it would have been as easy in Germany. So for me, coming to the States and just having that liberation right off the start to land on my own land and be able to say, how do we want to do things? How do I want to live my
mm,
life? It was just such a
mm,
opening for me of just really tuning in. But when you're raised in it, how can you? Unless somebody or something really shakes you out of it. Because by default, that's just not the training. And so thank you for sharing the story, because look what all that opened up. And who knows? I mean, this is just the conversation that you and I are having right now, but obviously we're recording this, so many will listen to this. And I'm really curious to see what everybody will take from it too. And so I'm really
mm.
curious, Jane, like what else has been coming up for you in these days so far for you on your day 14?
Day 14. Yeah,
And
so
then it
just
show, yeah.
making making the time to actually do the work of this project
Hmm.
is out of a whole day, probably one of the few things that I do that's just for me.
Mm.
And that has become very clear to me when I'm doing this, right? It's like,
Hmm.
what else have I done that's just for me? Nothing. I've done lots of things for everybody else, for my children, for my dog, and my husband, for my business, my clients. The list goes on. My son's baseball team. Yes. Um, what have I done that's just for me? And thanks to being part of this project, I do get to do at least one thing that is for me, which is better than zero things that is for me. And it is time that you need to sit down and just stop doing, right? Stop rushing around and all of that, which is something that lots of women are doing, is just rushing from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next all day long. And so taking that time out to stop, pause, and then recalibrate how I want to show up today, which is not the rushing. It's more, and I know I'm always trying to get back to cruise level.
Hmm.
Cruise control in the car, when you just hit that and you just go and the car
Hmm.
just goes along smoothly. That's that's what I'm aiming for. Because I can maintain that for miles and miles rather than the rushing, which is very exhausting, right? And I
Hmm.
can do the same things that have to get done in the day, but it's a different energy that I'm bringing to it, isn't it? And being in cruise control mode rather
Hmm.
than
Yeah.
accelerating constantly through all of the things that I
Hmm.
have to do. And I think
Yeah.
just before we hit record, I mentioned that you have said to me before that the universe um, rearranges itself for us as we come along, right? So,
Hmm.
yeah, if I can bring that cruise control mode me to the universe, what's the universe going to put in my way or move out of my way for me, right?
Hmm.
So everything always just works out much better when I'm in that cruise control mode rather
Hmm.
than a rushing mode.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And then have you experienced any kind of revelations, any small, I mean, you already mentioned like the magic of the everyday, which I love to
Yeah.
be able to recognize that. I mean, that's so beautiful. Is
Yeah.
there even anything else? Yeah.
And so that combined with, that sort of discussion I had with my husband the other day and thinking about, wow, these things that I'm sort of wanting and all of that, um, do I really want those things? That's what's come up for me. And I'm not only hearing it from this Magic and Miracles project, I'll pick up a podcast and they'll be talking about something like, something similar.
There you go.
And it's coming at me from different angles, or, pick up a book and it's like, I've just heard that over here, or we're talking about that with Silky. So it's, yeah, coming at me from different angles. So
Hmm.
I am opening myself up to just like stop trying to control things. This is
Hmm.
also a lifelong learning or pattern, if you will. Even though I think I'm being a little, sort of letting things happen and letting things come to me, trying to control things is still probably going on. And
Hmm.
also thinking that I want certain things and then getting them and going, oh, it's not that, right?
Hmm.
So, um, or that what isn't it? But something that has, so now that I've talked myself through that, I've come to the point where I understand. So while we've been doing this project, I had this opportunity come to me. I mentioned it to you, and
Hmm.
at first I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. But the actual experience of doing it sounds fun.
Hmm.
And so I was like, well, let's just ignore what you actually have to do and that you thinking that you're not good enough, that you can't do it. And let's focus on the experience because that's lighting you up for some reason. Right. And the experience is to go and be an interpreter. And that's where the sort of I'm not good enough thing is coming in, right? To be an interpreter is a really difficult job to do that on the spot between any language, but English and Japanese is what I'll be doing. But it's on a cruise ship. And so I'd get to actually go onto this cruise ship and have a look around and meet the captain and meet the mayor of my city, chat to them. I'm like, that's an experience and that's what I want. And so I'm sort of finding that instead of like aiming for things or
Hmm.
that I need to be aiming for experiences more,
Yes.
right? What do I want to experience? It's like, I don't know what it's going to be like, but I just want to go and have a look and see. And maybe that will open up a different opportunity I've never thought of before. But having all these sort of exciting experiences throughout the week or month or year is what is it's that old saying, variety is the spice of life, right? And
Hmm.
it's
Yes.
that's what I need to be focusing on rather than, oh, I want
Yeah.
to build this business that does XYZ. Not really. I'm I'm doing that along the way, but that's not
Hmm.
going to give me the satisfaction that these experiences probably are. So
Yeah.
tuning myself to look for those experiences and be brave enough to grab them when they
Hmm.
appear. Because in that case, the one I just told you, I almost said no because I
Hmm.
thought, oh, it'll be too hard, and I might might let my side down by not being able to do the interpreting well enough on the spot.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
But since I said yes, the universe has conspired to make it super easy for me. And what they initially said has changed, and now it's not that at all. It's something else. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is fine. I'm glad I said yes. So
Hmm.
just say yes is what I
Yes.
learned from that one. So that was a very long, drawn out way of saying, um, yeah, my learnings from going through this so far has been stop focusing on those things we think we should have or we think we should be aiming for, and look for the experiences that are gonna lead you to what you should be doing or the people you should
Hmm.
be meeting or having. Yeah, that's where the magic is. It's not necessarily in
Yes.
building things that you think you need. Mm.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
just like us
that's for
meeting
me
back
anyway.
then. Hmm.
Sorry?
Yes, just like us meeting back then in Laguna
Yes,
Beach.
yes. And even, me being there on that spot was such an experience. And I had to push myself so hard to get there and to be brave enough to leave my family, who my children were fairly small, and travel halfway across the world. It was a big, I was out of my comfort zone seriously on just to be there. But it worked out. So, here we are today talking about that.
Yep,
Mm,
exactly. Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, and you've now quantum woven with me for a while and
yeah.
been doing the classes and the courses and everything. Um, do you have any other experiences to share, any insights that would be fascinating for someone to
Mm.
know?
Obviously, I don't know all the things. I know very little, but just even just giving it a go. I've had some amazing things happen in the last few months, but like particularly, I don't really want to
Hmm.
say the details of it because it's kind of personal, but something that I wanted to happen just did. And then it was just like line up, line up, line up, next, next, done. And I'm like, huh, how did that happen in in the course of just a week and with so much ease, and just I'm sending a few emails and then dum dum dum, it's all done. And it was a really, really big thing that happened. And I'm sorry, I really would love to share the details, but just a little bit too personal. But if I hadn't been doing the quantum weaving with you, I wouldn't have understood how or why or appreciated it for what it was. I would
Mm,
have doubted it and I would have been in fear and I would have been like, is this, this is too good to be true? Have we all said that in the past before? Not being able to enjoy and accept this wonderful thing that's happening to us because we think something's about to go terribly, terribly wrong. But
mm,
thanks to what we were doing, I was able to see it for what it was and just enjoy it and be so thrilled for it. And I'm sure it went even better because of that. Yeah, that's all I can say on that, minus the details. But
yeah.
yeah, learning and so learning how to trust and recognize that quantum weaving when it's happening to you, and
Mm,
it was just magical, magical, magical.
I love that so much. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. What else would you like to share?
Just maybe if you're looking at all of the things, because there's so many things to choose from right now, right? With all of the things that you're um, offering,
Yeah.
and you're like, where's the perfect place to start? There isn't one. Just start is what I would say, and pick the thing that maybe pops up in your feed, or pick the thing that maybe resonates with you today, and start there, and let that be your start point, because
Hmm.
there's no like map and one path and a start point here and the goals here.
Hmm.
Yeah, this it's just your entry point, and then the path leads you from there. That's how it works. It's not an education system like we've all grown up with and been involved in so far. Even though it's a university of magic and wonders, right? There's no system that you have to follow. You can
Hmm.
start where you are and with what interests you today. That would be a great place to start, and then see and then follow the next step and the next step. And
Mm.
and it's a decision from you, not hey Silke, what should I do? It's what do I want? What do I need? What would be great for me to do right now? And then notice that and then go looking and it will appear for you.
Mm. That is
Because
so good.
Silica's certainly produced it ready for you and waiting. It's there, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Recently we've done vision casting and then eclipsing the shadow. And what I love about you is that you have really just been on like full in, like, wow, let's go for it, let's do it. And yeah, I don't know if you have any remembrance already, because it already seems like it's been a while, especially looking now at the 29 days of magic and miracles. That already seems like it's been months now. It almost
Yeah,
feels
yeah. Time is very
yeah,
strange, isn't it? And I
yeah,
think you get to know that it's not linear and it's it's just bendy and super fast and then super slow and all of these things. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
what even is time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done so much already and it's only the end of April as we're speaking today.
Yeah.
Um, but to know I can go back and look at that and go, ah, look at the me who wrote that down just a few months ago.
Mm,
I'm even more different and it's only been a few weeks now or something than the person
hmm.
who wrote that down. So it's
Oh,
beautiful to have to be able to go back and look at the evolution even in a
hmm.
short time. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And now I'm getting ready to open up the sisterhood soon.
Hmm.
So, and very excited about it. Very excited to have you be part of it as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that, you know, I'd say our daily lives are fairly lonely and to find a place where we're enjoying using the system that you are bringing to us without judgment or like, oh God, you believe in that? Or, oh, what a load of rubbish. That kind of attitude around you. You
Mm-hmm.
can just come in and bring in your amazing miracles and magic, and everybody's just going to go, oh, awesome. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm really looking forward to being able to do that in the sisterhood again.
Mm. Yeah, no, you were just such a beautiful, integral part of it before. And so I'm excited for us to co-create, because everyone who comes in and who shares and who gives and who pours in the space and then also receives back from the space, I feel like it's just such a
Mm,
gift. And at this
yeah.
point, we all are leaders in our own right. And I loved what you were saying earlier as far as, well, maybe I don't want to build this, maybe I want to experience, because it's not so much about for me, as I was always trying to kind of fit into the world of like coaches or mentors or like the concept of where do even I fit into these spaces. I've
Mm,
always kind of had a hard time because I'm more like, well, I'm me and I love being in the garden and I love really a simple life. But yet, and my my friend Amber and I had this discussion the other day, and she actually agreed to come onto a Zoom too because I was saying, we should do a Zoom together because it's a whole different conversation about the concept of the eclectic beauty and art of life, where it doesn't have to be some brand names or some things, and we can truly just treasure just nature and the goodness and the richness that's all around us. And that's what you really were speaking of earlier. And to me, that is more quantum weaving and more the essence of everything that we're doing. And so when I look at my own life leadership and everything, and I actually then bounced this off Tim and I said, I've always, because it's so funny when we moved to the States, I had also done an apprenticeship as a cabinet maker and was a certified cabinet maker after I
as you
completed
do,
college.
Silke, you're
And
so amazing. Oh, you're a
oh
baker, a
God,
cabinet
no.
maker, an artist.
That was not the intention of
Oh yes, I'm
mentioning
just
this.
a tad. No, but it's so amazing, and we're so lucky to have you sharing
God.
all of your gifts with us. So I just thought I'd stop you there for a
God, that was
moment.
not.
And can you build me a cabinet? You know, like, oh my
Don't know
God,
about anymore.
amazing.
Been a little while.
I can't build anything, you know. So,
Oh gosh. Well,
yeah, and my
actually, we.
garden is like just a collection of weeds. So it's just, yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, you were saying
oh
when I was doing my
gosh.
apprentice as a
Okay.
cabinet maker. Sorry.
So, so anyway, Um, so the reason why I was bringing this up was because Tim would always make fun of me. He was like, others would want like some fancy jewelry, and so for you, for your birthday, I'll buy you a drill or something. And he would just
A
kind of pick on
drill,
me for that,
right. Yeah. It's
and be
your
like,
love
I'll buy you
language
some
is
wood.
power tools.
Yeah, we'll go to Lowe's. I'll buy you some wood. Like you want some screws to go with it. So it was just really funny because for the first couple of years we were doing so much building, and yes, I was very much building like my own furniture still,
Mm.
and we had everything kind of in the garage at that point. And so I always thought, and because Tim always just kind of said that to me, is like, oh, I'm so glad that you're more simple and you don't want any name brands or any designer things, and so. But then, as I really sat with this here, especially in the last couple of years, I realized, no, I want beauty. And so beauty flourishing, obviously, and everything around me reflects that, it kind of reflects more of the eclectic taste and the thing. So if I can buy a beautiful bowl for the cats to drink out of, I'll buy that because it brings me joy, it's beautiful to look at, and I love the artistry, especially like buying from local artists too. And so for many years, that's why we
Mm.
had the exhibits of the local artists in our cafe too, because it's just kind of that reflection back to the beauty that you see around you. And it comes right back now to what you were saying, basically, because when you look at yourselves, we tend to reduce our level of um, awareness of how we function in life and where we set the bar, I think because so many of us, when we really look at life and we really analyze it, we will look for the beauty of things. And obviously, this is why the whole Magic and Miracles project really magnifies all of it. But to me, once that clicked for me, it's like, no, actually, for me, it's always been about the experiences, like you were saying, and it's been about my own growth and evolution that I've always invested in. And I've always rather invested in crystals and beautiful cups, beautiful things. So when I drink out of
Mm.
this cup, I feel rich because it's beautiful.
Right.
There's wealth in different forms, but to
Not
have a
because it's
wealthy
got a
life,
certain name on it or a certain, yeah.
exactly,
Because
exactly.
of the
But
experience of and of looking at it
yes,
and drinking out of it. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, but to have a
Mm.
wealthy life, it is about extracting the richness and the beauty out of it. And that's so unique for each of us. And
Mm. Yeah.
you find that on your walk and it doesn't cost anything. And if I buy a beautiful cup that might not cost much, but to me it's just so perfect and so beautiful. And I'll save the story that me and Amber are gonna share the other day when I came for massage for her to her. It was just there are just these moments that are just so touching where we realize this is where it's at. Those are
Yeah.
all of those moments in between because we look
Mm.
for the big things and I mean that's fabulous too to have the really big broad experiences, but most of the time it's really just all of those little nuances to really extract and see them and yeah, and recognize all of that within it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely become a fan of this outer order, inner calm kind of. So, like, just to have a white wall with nothing on it to me is so beautiful.
Mhm.
Or a corner with nothing in it, like, or a shelf with nothing on it, even. To me, that is so beautiful. I don't even need anything there, I've
Mm,
found. So less
mm,
is more. So that's my goal is to, yeah, reduce all of the things that I have around me so that I
mhm,
can have more order. But for somebody else, that might be awful, right? That might be like, they might feel like, slowly wasting away here with this lack of that they love the whatever it might be, having many things around them that
mhm,
they feel wealthy and that's beautiful to them. Yeah. So
mhm.
you do you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have excellent taste, Silke, so yeah, we can all learn something from that as well. As you can see in your beautiful shelves you have behind you there.
Yeah, it was still leftovers from homeschooling too when we
Oh,
decided.
really? Wow.
Yeah, at one point it was the
Yeah.
idea of the homeschool room, but then, the whole house was in the whole yard and
Well, yeah,
library and
yeah,
everything
it's
else kind of
everywhere,
became
right?
the playground. So it kind of evolved over time for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
What's coming through for me? Just gratitude for everything you're doing that we can learn from and sharing what you know with us. I'm eternally grateful for that, to be able to have access to this quantum weaving system and all of your other knowledge that you have spent so much time and energy investing in yourself over the years, and showing us a way that we can really tap into that divine feminine and bring that into our lives wherever we are in the world, and be connected to each other wherever we are in the world. So thank you for that.
No, I'm grateful. It's my pleasure. And I'm so grateful I get to walk this path with you and so many incredible women, really. And then for any of the women who might be watching this in the future and us watching it in the future too, that'll be fascinating.
And
Like our
laughing at
future
ourselves.
self.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. But yeah, I mean, to me, I'm just so grateful too, because this age of solidarity, solidary existence, could
Solidarity. No.
solidarity. It can it can definitely feel lonely, and it's no longer necessary, and it's no longer a thing of the future. I feel like we've all waited many lifetimes to finally gather together now and be in community and be in sisterhood. And it's almost like finding our tribes again and gathering.
Mm,
And I just love that idea so much. And that's why for me, I had Beauty Flourishing for 6 years, and then for almost a year, the Quantum Weavers community. And now to open the space once again in a new way with all of the things that are worthwhile gathering and bringing along
mm,
for the ride, and saying, no, these teachings must be there and they're beautiful to incorporate. And then seeing how this tribe will come about again and how it'll be built. I'm so excited about it. And then all the other classes and courses that are just going to be transformational. And for me, I'm just so grateful to be able to do this passion and to walk this path with you and the incredible women here now, and all of the ones who are still going to be walking with us in the future. So
mm,
it's amazing. It is. Yes. And gosh, who knows? Gosh, who knows where we're going to be? And just to hold that space for ourselves, for our soul evolution, and then, of course, also for, our husbands, for, well, they hold space for us as well, of course,
yeah.
and our children, and yeah, that whole evolution of you being a mom and you having the tools too to teach your daughter and your son. And I just love that so much that they can benefit from it as well.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah,
This is very exciting. Yes.
mm,
Very exciting
yeah,
to me to be able to do this with them too. Yeah.
so, so cool. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming on. I
Thank
am
you. It's
so
been lovely
happy.
to spend this time with you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for all of you listening, and hope you received so much fun and value and beauty and magic and miracles out of
And
it. And
wisdom and
wisdom and all the things. And we look forward to so much more together. And I'm so glad that everyone who hasn't met you yet, Jane, got to meet you today. And
yeah.
beautiful
Thank you
self.
so much for this lovely
Oh,
time together, Silke.
namaste. Bye.